lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Hey, hey.
You okay there?
You remember that episode of The Tick where there was the haze and the what's, and the one alien race that looked like Arthur only said the word hey, and it made really, and then their enemy race were the what's, and they only said the word what, and they were interrogating Arthur because he looked like a hey spy, and they were coming up doing and being like, hey, and he'd go, what? And they'd go, hey, and he'd say, what? And it was their native language, and there was this big it was hilarious. It's so funny. In the haze, they worship nothing, and their mantra is nothing lasts forever, and nothing is worth fighting for, and yeah, it was. It's a really, really, really good episode. Ben Edlund at his finest, and sent out the Infinity Ball. That was an evil weapon to destroy the universe. Anyway, what's going on? This is the Drive-In Speakerbox. If this is your first,
is the official Tick animated series podcast.
Yeah, if this is the first episode that you've ever tuned into on a podcast and you're not seeing us it live, then you're probably really confused. But I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I'm Jake the Grip.
For the next hour-ish, we're going to be talking to you about movies and stuff about movies and things related to movies and things. Just it's weird because it's been a year. It's been officially a year now on the Drive-In Speakerbox where movies stopped coming out, and it's the 1 year anniversary of the episode after theaters closed,
which is weird because today is the anniversary of the very first moving picture ever screened to an audience. How about that? 1895.
Back before they had the talkies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow, a lot of anniversaries tonight. So, but anyway, thanks for joining us. We've got a fun show for you tonight, I think. Not like we scripted this thing out or anything. But we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's. It's the paper.
Yeah, no, this is just a BS outline that I've made for the
that
news.
Happened.
Yeah, there's no script here.
But we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. We had a
Snyder Cut version 1 until that
black and white version comes
black
out.
And white one, yeah.
Which that's stupid. I don't think that's necessary. I mean, it's not like it's going to be 300 or anything, and it's like the only person that's in color is Flash or something stupid because he's red. I don't know. Don't need any of that. But we're going to be talking about the Snyder Cut later in the show. But if you guys are listening to this live, share, tell your friends, or if you're listening to this on the podcast next week, you can turn it to this live. We broadcast every Monday night live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just search for the Drive-In Speakerbox. There's a hyphen in Drive-In if you know how to spell Drive-In. There you go, Drive-In Speakerbox. Actually, there is our Drive-In Speakerbox right there. If you look on your screen at where I'm pointing, that right there is an actual Drive-In Speakerbox, which is what the show's named after, if you guys ever wondered why the show is called that. Anyway, it's a thing of days gone by. You don't even get speaker boxes at
you got to use your own car radio.
Yeah, it's all car stereo now. But you used to have to. There was poles that had 2 speaker boxes on each side, and you pull the speaker box in, and it'd hang on your window like old Sonic trays. And you could turn the volume on that little volume knob, and that's how you heard the movie because they didn't have short-range FM transmitters back then like they do now. So, yeah, there you go. Okay, what's going on here? Let's get caught up in the comments. Of course, we got Vince and Johnny Dalton just already in the YouTube and the Twitch just going at it. Let's see, Vince saying, kind of a shame that up until a few days ago, he thought for some reason the Snyder Cut was for Watchmen and not Justice League.
Watchmen, they already did they did Watchmen and then a director's cut of it, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Watchmen wasn't bad.
The director's cut wasn't bad at all.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't a huge fan.
They got rid of the big vagina tentacle monster from the comic books,
but they kept the big blue Manhattan. Right?
Yeah, is that what you're calling it?
The
big blue Manhattan there. Yeah,
the baby's arm holding a big apple.
Yeah, from when Dr. Manhattan just towers above everyone with his dong out.
Hey man, that's what Dr. Manhattan does.
Yeah, it is.
Bro.
He don't care.
He
got better things to do.
Yeah. Anyway, so the news. Let's catch up a little bit in the news. Hasn't been a huge, exciting weekend. There has been an announcement for a Zatanna movie, which does not surprise me at all.
From the now award-winning filmmaker Emerald Fennell, who did what was that movie? Promising Young Woman. Yeah. So she's going to be the
promising young new female superhero
filmmaker for the Zatanna movie. But is it going to be a theatrical release? Is it going to be one of those HBO Max,
who knows,
mini movie exclusive type things?
I was reading an interview with some Warner Brothers executives and Paramount executives talking about how, you know, what are these DC movies? What do these DC movies look like going into the future? And I think after the Snyder cut, because it's you know, going back to what the whole theme of the show is probably going to be about tonight, is the Snyder cut represents a lot more to films, especially superhero films, than just whether or not it's good or bad. It's kind of an interesting turning point in how we view movies, how we view superhero universes, how these things are going to get made moving forward, where we're going to see them, how much money they're going to give them. Like, this is a huge deal. And the executives don't like the Snyder cut, and not just because they're like, we didn't like it, we thought it was boring. It represents a lot of things that are on a verge of change in their industry, and it's kind of scary, you know. And one of the things they were talking about is, I think they're wanting to get away from movies and go more towards episodic streaming, television, animated series kind of things. And if they're going to do a movie, it's going to be like a streaming special, which is essentially these days just like a long episode of a TV show. So I don't know, you know, I mean, what the lines of what makes a movie and a TV show are getting so blurred now, because TV shows are like big movies now, like 8-9 hour movies. You look at something like Game of Thrones, you know, that changed the landscape forever. I mean, you go back as far as Lost. We've mentioned Lost before on the show, but that like kind of lit the fire, and shows like Game of Thrones pushed it over the you know, the end zone. And it's like, well, what do we really want? Do we want movies, or do we want 9-hour movies broken up like TV shows? So I don't know. Zatanna may not be in theaters. Nothing may be in theaters.
Yeah, but the cool thing is there's going to be a live-action Zatanna.
There is going to be a live-action Zatanna. And
she's the coolest of the DC big-time female leads outside of Huntress, because Huntress is my favorite.
Zatanna's pretty cool, though.
And they ruined Huntress in the live-action, so.
And if we get more Zatanna, that means we could get more Constantine.
Well, yeah, Justice League Dark.
Because they were...
Also means we could get some more terrible Birds of Prey.
No.
Where they ruined Huntress. And Black Canary.
I don't want no more Birds of Prey. That movie, that was a painful movie to sit through. So yeah, you know, that's a bit of news. A lot of things moving and shaking in the DC world. Idris Elba got a new trailer coming out in Concrete Cowboy, coming out on Netflix. You know, movies in the world of movies, Avatar making waves again. I mean, it kind of started last week, where Avatar got a re-release in China, and it's overtaking its throne back away from, I believe it was Avengers Endgame that took the crown from Avatar as the most highest grossing movie ever, and now it's back. Avatar's back, baby. It's on top. Where
got that China
still
money?
Doesn't. Yeah, and it just took over Mulan again, as you know. It's back in the box office, and it's just like, yo, I'm Avatar. Don't forget it. And even though that movie is not very good, but maybe we're missing something about blue cosplay that we don't understand. maybe just seeing.
I mean, it has Sigourney Weaver and Stephen Lang.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you? Yeah, James Cameron. I don't know.
I don't know, but James Cameron's still adamant on making 900 sequels to Avatar at some point in the future. He's been working on them for a while now. I think principal photography started like last year and then got shut down for COVID and then it's restarted, and who knows? I think he's buying his own country just to film Avatar so people will leave him alone. But
the floating rocks and everything.
Yeah. Shout outs into the comments. Shout out to Cosmic Drew over on YouTube. We got Gentry over in Facebook. Old John Munkus wants us to release a Snyder cut of Tom and Jerry.
Well, funny you say that because what was it, last week or the week before? People got a 1 hour preview of Snyder cut if they chose to watch Tom and Jerry.
And they're like, certainly no one's going to watch Tom and Jerry. Oops. It's kind of like, remember back when people used to watch like television, like cable television, and every now and again there'd be some big news story where on an episode of Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy, like hardcore porn played for like 34 seconds or something, and everyone's like, oh my God, because some idiot in the switch room was pulling a prank, or it was his last day and he was going to quit anyway, and he's just like, guess what, I'm putting in this tape, and and then he gets violently escorted away from the premises. And
maybe it was because they had it all on UHF.
Who knows? And then somebody just like recorded over another tape, and then just it was somebody's foreign film tape that they just didn't fully erase. And they're like, oh no. But anyway, What else happened in the news? What do we talk about before we just get into full on Justice League?
Well, a new Keanu Reeves Netflix project was announced for Berserker, a comic book written by him through Boom Comics. They will be making first a live-action movie starring him as B, the main character in it, who's like an immortal berserker guy who does all of the super special covert ops for the U.S. government or something like that.
As he does.
So they're going to make a live-action movie and then follow it up with a anime series all on Netflix. So that's something. And then...
every time I hear Berserker, I just want more like true to form anime rendition of Berserk manga, not the like CGI crap that they tried to do. Don't make that face. You always make that face pretending you're not into that
you're
shit.
You're a weeaboo, man.
Good Lord, do we even need to pull your like little nerd britches down and rose bottom with anime language? I mean, I just have to bring up One Piece, and
everybody loves One Piece.
Google One Piece and then tell me that this guy isn't into anime. I don't even watch One Piece, and I like anime because it's just too much for me, and I like pirates. And I'm just like, oh God, rubber arms, and then dudes that are like, and
I feel like you're attacking some of the best characters in the entire series, like Mr. Sue Boneclay.
I'm making a point, and you're proving it. Thank you. Anyway, what was I saying? Berserk, the Berserk anime that came out in the 90s was a masterpiece, and then they tried to resurrect it, and they did a terrible job, and everyone's like, this is stupid, and they're like, yeah, because the anime sucks, but the story is great.
Anime does suck. You're right. Yeah.
No, what about One Piece?
One Piece is just incredible television.
Yeah, and so is Berserk. And you haven't even watched it.
One Piece doesn't have little boys being raped by goblins.
You don't see it in Berserk. It's
doing the
called
manga.
Character development. Oh, so how would you know?
No comment.
Okay, all right, okay. I did not have reading relations with that manga. Anyway, let's see. Cosmic Drew says, any of those classic Shonen Jump series from the 90s? Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z and all of that
Never seen
stuff.
it.
What, really?
I've never watched Dragon Ball Z.
You're doing something
I've watched
wrong.
a couple episodes where like Mewtwo shows up and like everybody's like, oh, ultimate power level, and he's like, dude, and then he gets his hair bleached and he's like, even more, dude. And
what about Rurouni Kenshin or Yu Yu Hakusho? Or
I never watched Rurouni Kenshin. I tried, and I tried watching Yu Yu Hakusho as well, and I don't know, man.
Initial D?
I never
wasn't
finished
in Jump
Initial
Comics.
D.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, I think the closest I got was Inuyasha, and I did watch me some of that, but it was all right. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is really, really good.
This ain't no anime show. I ain't here for this weeb talk.
You know, we'd actually probably get more viewers if it was. So maybe you need to straighten up a little
That's where the
bit.
Twitch audience come in, huh?
That's right. Monkus asks, what about Outlaw Star? There's some pirates. Outlaw Star's pretty good. Outlaw Star's pretty good. I never watched My Hero Academia. Drew asks about that one. I've never watched that, although a handful of my friends are really, really into it. And Cosmic Drew says, you guys came into my world now.
The only thing that I've really ever liked that's like anime is like ones that most people would have never heard of.
I.e.?
Sakigake Otokojuku.
Okay, yeah, I don't know about Satikae ga Kokojuku.
Yeah, that was close. Sure. Yeah, definitely the same thing that I said.
I don't know about it. Drew says Cowboy Bebop's the best classic, sitting under a huge Cowboy Bebop poster now. I mean, dude, Netflix has just finished principal photography on their Cowboy Bebop show. So it probably be a few more months before. I know,
Is it still going to have the Yoko Kanno soundtrack? Because that's kind of the best
from
part.
the Seatbelts or whatever that band was called.
Monk is coming in with Hokuto no Ken. Hokuto no Ken's my jam.
Fist of the North Star.
Yeah. Before it was a big internet meme for everyone to be like, oh, you're already dead, though. You know what? Talking about famous composers from TV and movies and things like that. You know that it was Stephen Sondheim's birthday today?
I did not. Happy
and William
birthday.
Shatner's.
William and Stephen.
Andrew Lloyd Webber's.
And the Andrew, the Lloyd Webers.
Yeah.
Wow.
As well as Marcel Marceau's.
A lot of birthdays today. Happy birthday, all you guys.
Louis L'Amour and James Patterson, who had a lot of their works turned into big-time movies. So how about that?
James Patterson.
Today's also the anniversary of the patent of the laser, which makes it where all of sorts of modern technology work the way that they do.
Happy birthday, laser.
Your DVDs and
including
Blu-rays.
You remember it was like late 90s, early 2000s when laser pointers like became, something that you could buy at a gas
station. They had to ban them from school
and movie theaters, and everybody's like
they'd have all the tips that you would change.
Yeah, it'd be like, look, here's a pot leaf and a peace sign and a smiley face and all the like the 90s symbols of hooliganism. Here's like a Dr. Seuss hat and all that stuff like the raver kids. I mean, did they ever have one that was like a pacifier in a backpack?
You would know. That was your scene.
That was my scene, man. I was a little rave kid. Anyway, what are we even talking about? Any other bits of news that I went through?
That's all the non-Justice League things that I had there, man.
Did you see about the Vin Diesel's son in F9? There's going to be a young Dominic Toretto, and
but they've already finished that movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just said it because you're into that stuff.
Yeah, making us have to wait until like next year to get it or something.
Oh man, torture.
Yeah,
making me wait so long.
I need it, man. Fast and Furious is life.
Sure.
Listen, dude. Shrek is love, but Fast and Furious is life. Nobody Google these things.
Oh God. Yes, Google all of these things, especially One Piece.
Blake asked, when is someone going to make a Contra movie? Hopefully never. Video game movies are awful. Yeah, video game movies never turn out very well.
Favorite level on the original Contra?
How can you have a favorite of a game that's designed to make you hate
least favorite level on the original Contra?
Man, I don't know. I was way more into Metal Slug than Contra.
Yeah, but not everybody had a Neo Geo, Mr. Rich Boy. Like, where did you
have a Neo Geo?
Yeah, where did you get to play Metal Slug?
The pizza place.
Okay, so they had one of those Neo Geo.
Dad, can I have like $5 in quarters to get through half of a level?
Yeah, to get through 30 seconds of Metal Slug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Metal Slug X. But no, Contra, I think my least favorite was the waterfall level, where you had to keep jumping up and up and up and up because the level would trail with you. But the boss, that was like the most iconic boss, the one with like the swinging arms and the like monster head. And it's like, "Ugh," and then the secret was just aliens the whole time. I don't know. Contra, I'm really surprised Contra has not made itself into a movie. I mean, it's basically the plot of Alien. There's like this xenomorph-esque alien that's like controlling shit from a big mother hive. Except for this one controls human soldiers somehow. I don't know. A lot of video games. Oh yeah, spoiler alert. It was aliens. Johnny Dalton says our Pizza Hut had Art of Fighting 2 and baseball stars for 10 years. Yeah, most places that had the Neo Geos that you could. The whole purpose of the Neo Geo system is you could easily switch games. So you could pull a cartridge out, put a new cartridge in, and you'd have the
Samurai Showdown.
Yeah, Samurai Showdown,
Fury.
World Heroes, King of Monsters,
King of Fighters,
the Windjammers. Shout out to Munkus. That was his. He used to have a Windjammers.
Final Fight.
Yeah, like all those. Final Fight was on Neo Geo.
Yeah, there's one with Rio. That was the one that they created Dan Hibiki to make fun of.
So I always thought Final Fight was a standalone. Its original was a standalone arcade, because like the mayor of Punchtown was like Hagar, and he's like, "Gah!"
Oh no, was that? Then I'm thinking, what's the one I'm thinking? Art of Fighting. That's the one.
Art of Fighting. That's what you're thinking of.
Final Fight had Hagar. That was Capcom.
Yes, those Capcom fighting games were badass.
Not as badass as the Neo Geo ones.
Alex asks, Super Metroid movie or TV series? It has to be a TV series because the speed run.
See, I was going to say movie.
Or, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It has to be movie because of speed run.
But I really don't want to see a Samus Aran movie because they would just definitely ruin it.
Of course they would screw it up. They would totally screw it up.
Yeah, definitely ruin it. I'm missing so many things here.
Everybody's getting amped up in the comments here, talking about like Contra and Metal Slug and Super Metroid. It's just like nostalgia bait. Here we go.
Yeah, Gentry said he likes the Worf shirt. Thanks, man. I put it on because Justice League had a mirror universe just like Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah, what if there were Klingons in the DC universe?
No,
like a planet full of Klingons, do you think they would be like sucky, or you think they'd be awesome? I mean, they're no Kryptons, no Kryptonians.
I don't know. I don't know how they could end up in DC.
But they do have two wieners.
X-Men and Star Trek did their crossover, so it's more of a Marvel universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's get back on track here. Vince coming in from Twitch says, I read that King Kong vs. Godzilla might be the biggest performing movie in COVID. What do you guys think? All caps. That's all speculation, man. That's like returning back to the old style of movies where everybody's like going, this movie's a success before it even comes out. I don't know if it'll probably be one of the highest grossing movies of COVID, because if you've been out in public lately, most people think COVID's over at this point. And if, all these people that are just eager to go see King Kong, it's going to be really interesting because people are going out to restaurants and stuff being like, yeah, COVID's over, who cares? But movie theaters are dangerous because everybody got beat over the head that movie theaters are dangerous.
I'm sure I've been in restaurants here lately, and there's no more separated booths or anything like that. They're all just, everybody's right together. And
just talking and spitting food and, it's like, all right, here we are, here we go. But a movie theater, everybody's quiet, breathing calmly and facing the same direction, and the ceilings are 1,000 feet tall, and they got the air conditioners going at full blast, because what you don't realize is they have to keep those things super cool because those projectors put off a shit ton of heat, and if they didn't have really good ventilation, all those warm bodies breathing, it'd just be bad, it'd be chaos. But dude, like, come on. Night Owlishly said, walked out of a restaurant the other day because they were so close. Crazy.
Yeah.
Drew says, we have a projector down here plus a Klipsch sound system and watched it here at the office a few months ago at like 2 a.m. Hell yeah. Let's see. Monka says, one of the highest grossing movies was A Mugen Train, which got a U.S. release date. Finally. Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
we'll see how Kong and Zilla does when it comes out next week in theaters.
It'll make money. It'll make money.
And HBO. They're doing the dual thing there with theaters and HBO.
Well, and I think given the option, like that's the difference is cooking at home, versus going to a restaurant. Like a chef is going to be making your food for you, and it's going to be good, and it's going to be plated right. But when you go, well, I'm going to make that same thing at home, and you turn into a nailed it meme, and it's not the same. But so many people are blurring the lines of the theatrical experience at home, and they go, well, it's the same movie. I'm just going to watch it at home. And yeah, in a way, it is the same movie, and you can watch it at home at the same time. And I think more people are going to choose to watch it at home because they're like, why would I do that? And welcome to the day to be gay bird daps.
I want Godzilla on a big screen.
Exactly. A big monster, one on a big screen, and just something like, the producer and I were talking about before the show started is just like with Snyder Cut, and I think it might have been Drew or Gentry or somebody in the comments saying that asked if we watched it all in one go because they got caught up. And it's like yeah, because we treated it like a theater experience. We're like, all right, cozy up. You got our snacks. We got our thing. All right, we ready to hit play. Let's do the thing.
And honestly, not to ruin the part where we get into the review of it, but sitting there for 4 hours watching it did not feel like that.
Not at all.
It blew by real quick.
And also because we were focusing on it. Not like, we didn't come in there with full intentions of cooking dinner at the same time and having people coming in and out and, phones on silent. It's...
Oh, could you pause that? I need to pee.
Yeah, it's just like we're going to treat it like a movie. And like when one of us had to go to the restroom, movie didn't stop. We kept on going. You had to go hurry and pee, just like a theater. So yeah, you gotta treat these things like a theatrical experience. Dave asked, "Can you do that accent on set and like don't break character?"
Which accent?
I think he's talking about What's Good Guy.
Oh yeah.
Because man, What's Good Guy? He been a character on the driving Speakerbox for a long time, man. He come up to the theater and he got started back when I used to work in the video stores, and he'd come up to the desk and he'd be like, "Hey man, what's good?" And, What's Good Guy, everybody has a What's Good Guy. And What's Good Guy comes to the theater, too. I've seen these people. They'll walk up to the marquee and be like, hey, man, what's good? And you're like, well, I don't know. What's good to you? What do you like? I don't know, man. I just thought I'd come see a movie, you know what I mean? And then when What's Good Guy puts responsibility for his decisions on your shoulders and he doesn't like it, you're like, man, that guy sucks. That movie theater sucks because he told me to go in a dumb-ass movie. And it's not like your dumbass didn't like, The Artist because, sorry. Sorry, it had black bars on the TV. And What's Good Guy can be, it's any gender, the What's Good Guy is eternal and genderless. It's just that's my representation of that person.
And with that kind of person around, and them asking about King Kong and Godzilla possibly being the biggest movie of COVID or whatever, 2 weeks after it comes out, we're getting Mortal Kombat, and the King Kong Godzilla. We've already had 3 disappointing movies leading up to this most likely underwhelming movie. So Mortal Kombat, though, you haven't seen a live action one of that since Resurrection?
I don't know. There's only one Mortal Kombat movie.
There's 2.
I'm as far as I'm concerned, there's only one, and that's the OG, Lord Raiden rolling up and being like,
oh yeah, back
Christopher Lambert laugh coming in, Lord Raiden, and your soul is mine.
Yeah, but you don't get Shao Kahn in the first one.
Who cares? You got the one and only Shang Tsung coming in with your soul is mine. I've never seen anybody like enunciate that sentence better on screen.
Well, and that's why in Mortal Kombat 11, the newest one that's out right now, they made it where it is Hiroyuki. He is once again Shang Tsung in it, instead of having the rainbow overalls and like the weird
and the little
dance.
cap.
Yeah.
His soul is always him. I don't know. Mine. John Cena should play Reptile, says Johnny Dalton. I don't know about that. Vince says we need the old producer to come in and guest for MK Movie Review, and I think he plans on it. He's a big Mortal Kombat boy.
And Justice League, because he's a big DC boy. He watched it with us.
Yep. So anyway, I think that's a pretty good as any time to transition into actually talking about this thing, because it's the middle of the show. We need to start reviewing this bad biddy. And you know, one thing that I'm gonna start this whole discussion of Justice League with is I've been reading lots of reviews about the Snyder Cut after I watched the Snyder Cut. That's kind of what I do, just to realize how stupid everyone is and how very little movies and how very little frames of reference people that get paid to write movie reviews actually care about movies or watch other movies to learn about movies. They're like, hey, Johnson, we need a review about a new movie that's coming out. You want to watch it and write about it? Yeah, dude, I'll write about this movie and have my opinion as, you know, being elevated as some sort of important opinion, even though I just started watching movies last week for the first time ever. And I watched it, and I'm going to give you this hot take of what I think, man. And, you know, I think the internet has really created a huge problem of people that review movies that don't have any business reviewing movies. Like taking apart films, talking about them academically, and, you know, constructively critiquing them in a way that you can kind of process to other potential viewers is more than like an unboxing video. And I feel like movie reviews have turned into these unboxing videos where any dingling that has a keyboard and access to the internet is like, well, we're going to check it out. Let's just check it out. All right, here we go. Oh man, lasers. I freaking love lasers, dude. All right, I'm going to write that down. Freaking love lasers. Oh man, you know what's stupid? That guy's face. I don't like his face. All right, that's what I'm writing down. And it's reactionary, and it's not critique. And that's not everybody, but it's a lot of stuff. So with that said, I am very, very, very shocked and appalled at how many people watch this movie and were like, meh. I mean, we got a Snyder Cut and it's better than the last one, I guess, but it's still meh. And to those people, I bite my thumb at you, because this movie is such an impressive milestone in filmmaking for so many different reasons. And I never thought I'd say this about a superhero movie, but it shows the power of fandom. It shows the power of director vision. It shows the power of money. It shows the power of just artistic license. There's just so many things that this movie is representing and showing different sides of. Just the sheer fact that the Justice League, as I've seen it referenced, is 100% a different movie than what we watched.
Completely different.
You know, I heard a lot of people going, it's just like, we've already seen it. It's just like a longer version of a movie we already saw, right? And I was like, no, this is literally not the same movie.
Not at all. Yeah.
Not even close.
Batman didn't crack one dumbass joke that makes you hate Batman.
Because that's not what Batman does. This was a whole different movie. It's like, imagine watching Star Wars. We get A New Hope, and then the producers were like, "Oh, you know what, George Lucas? Well, we're gonna cut out Princess Leia altogether. We're gonna cut out R2-D2. We just don't. No one's gonna understand what those beeps are anyway. Let's just get rid of him. No Millennium Falcon shots. I think we'll just get him on a spaceship, go to A to B, and let's just eliminate the Death Star and kind of the Empire. And let's just have some lightsaber fights. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, let's just do some lightsaber fights and Luke Skywalker, because everybody likes that guy. Yeah, okay, cool. Print. And that's kind of what it felt like. For the Justice League, they cut out all of the plot, several of the main characters, the main bad guy, and removed all dialogue of the bad guy, the mini-boss bad guy. And it was like watching a completely different film. Unbelievable. Anyway, you say words now, Jake, and then I'll jump back in there.
Say something stupid. No, yeah, it's not where someone Vince said that people say it's a slightly better take on a flawed film. That's not. It's a different movie. It's completely different movie that tells a nearly completely different story, and in some aspects of it, a completely different one because there's actually a story there. Like as far as Cyborg goes, you get to see the thing with his dad. You see the introduction of the character of the all-new Adam, and Choi being there.
And I don't know, Darkseid.
Yeah, you get Darkseid. You get the anti-life equation. You get
Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, you get Martian Manhunter. You get so many things that weren't even in the original
not even as a reference
cut, that were just totally eliminated, that completely alter the way that story is. And then there's certain scenes that were redone by Joss Whedon that were just for comedic effect or just to redo something to cut out elements of the movie. And you get different characters from this. Batman is more of a Batman in this movie. He's someone trying to create the Justice League instead of just a dude who's a goof and getting pushed around by Superman every for a little bit. You have Cyborg, who gets to have a big pivotal role in the whole thing.
You mean he has a role?
Yeah. And it's because everything's revolving around mother boxes, and he's basically
a mother box.
Yeah, and you get to know more about what those are, what they do, why they're important to everything in the DC universe, and why Darkseid is such a big bad, and why he is Darkseid.
I mean, can you imagine Lord of the Rings without Sauron?
Yeah.
Without the rings. They're like, let's just do Lord of the Rings and cut out the rings because it's too much to follow.
Like if they just made the pink, weirdly formed orc guy the main.
He was the main bad guy the whole movie.
Yeah, instead of having Sauron or something,
and having someone he reports to, and that was something that in the Whedon version. I hated it so much because Steppenwolf was such a trash, forgettable, throwaway character in the original cut of this film that hit theaters. And I'm like, well, they're not even explaining why he's here. He's just a bad guy that's like at the wall, I'm on Earth and I'm up to no good. Well, we better assemble the world's most powerful team for the only reason of stopping a guy that's a little stronger than us. And it was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. But then when you introduce Darkseid, you introduce Steppenwolf was a bitch in that movie. He wasn't the big bad. He was a lowly servant in this movie.
Well,
and he was a big bad.
Yeah, the only time he got shut down is when Superman or Darkseid were there.
But you get to see the fact that he's doing this because he's kind of like licking the boot of Darkseid to get back in his good graces because he's in trouble. And he's like, oh, my master, I'm going to kiss your ass because I need to get back in the cool kids club. So I'm going to do whatever I got to do, and I'm not going to stop at anything because my life depends on it. Not like, I'm on Earth because plot development and I'm strong and I hate y'all because I don't know.
And one thing that was actually cool about the movie that's even a little better than how they do things in the comics is that they put the anti-life equation on Earth to make it where it's like, why would someone of Darkseid's power even bother with
give a crap with this planet?
Yeah, this little blue planet of garbage. It's because there's something he wants. The only bad thing about that is Darkseid will never stop, and you can't just kill off Darkseid. So that's the one bad thing, is that now that he remembers that it was on Earth, there's a couple of plot points that could have been done better for sure, but definitely a huge improvement, a very good alteration and changing of the story to make it a story.
Well, it's a saga. That's the thing about the DC storylines. If you watch the animated stuff, which is fantastic, and you've heard us talk about how fantastic it is,
you would know about some of these things going into the movie
already.
Be as excited as we
yeah, like when we saw a little clip of Darkseid tossing out a little Omega beam. We're like, oh, you know, and then seeing different Mother Boxes, seeing Granny Goodness over on the side. We're like, oh, you know, and it's just like little stuff like that.
And when they said who Choi was, I was that DiCaprio meme, like the yeah,
you know, and it pays respect to the fans that made the whole reason that we're making a Justice League movie even possible is because of fans, but also making something that's engaging to an audience of people that have never watched it before. And that's why something like that, that's like, whoa, it's 4 hours. And so it's because you don't know what the fuck a Mother Box is, and you're about to learn. And
yeah, we watched it with one of our friends who is probably not as well versed in all of that as us, and the producer and everything. So I don't know if he
enjoyed it, you know.
I don't know if he ended up learning about it as much as the movie intended. But
it does bring up, and I think this is a really good trend. It's just a big point that I wanted to talk about the Justice League and why this is such an important, interesting moment in superhero movie dumb. Is what do we want out of superhero movies? You know, what does the audience really want? You know, do we want TV shows? Do we want long-form, episodic Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. bullcrap? Do we want WandaVisions? And do we want, like, Winter Soldier and Falcon buddy cop shows? What do we want? You know, when it comes to these movies, do we just want Avengers where the Hulk like grabs Loki by the foot and slams him against a wall, farts, eats a taco, and then Thor makes fun of his penis and Thor's all fat in the Big Lebowski? Is that what we freaking want, like, out of our movies? Because these are the ones that you're all like going, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Oh God, give me 9 million of these. Or do we want like engaging, dark, long-form stories that take time and are complicated and have plots that twist and turn and make you like certain characters and make you hate certain characters, and then people die, and then there's consequence, and then there, you know, that's what's cool about DC in the animated, in the long form, is you're able to explore these choices, like the Flash. Like, you know, the idea of a Flashpoint movie is pretty cool to me, but that's they did an animated version one, and it's pretty good, but it is not fun. Like, the first thing that he does is he goes back to try and save his father's life because, you know, I've got phenomenal cosmic powers. What's the first thing I'm going to do? Something completely self-centered. And then he changes this moment in time out of selfish reasons, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, like, Aquaman's getting his arms lobbed off, and then Batman's getting a bullet in the face, and Wonder Woman's getting, you know, captured and destroyed, and you're like, oh, shit, this got violent real fast, and it's not happy, and it's not fun, and nobody's cracking one-liner jokes, and Robert Downey Jr. isn't being like, hey, cool, I have a Ferrari. And, you know, but do we want that? I think that's the big question, is the people that are complaining that this is too long, I think they want superhero movies, but they don't want superhero movies.
Right. Well, Vince asked if the first version never existed, how do we think this one would have gone over at the box office several years ago? I think it would have made DC a lot more competitive.
If they had split it up, say, the last two Harry Potter movies, where there was a 1 and a 2?
No, just put it out like this.
No one's going to sit through it. That's why they didn't do it. No one's going to sit through a 4-hour-long movie.
Yeah, but if
theaters don't even have time to do it.
If this is the story we would have got, there's not a good midpoint to divide it.
I was talking about this earlier today.
There's not a good division point in the movie.
After the big battle where Aquaman decides to join the team, where he like shows up
out of nowhere, which doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's in underwater. I mean, maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
I mean, he could talk to fish, man. That doesn't make any sense. So, you know, he shows up, and it's like, all right, we got Aquaman's on board. There's a stopping point. There's a new addition to the Justice League. All right, the next chapter would be, what do we do now? We got to go get Superman. We got to go figure out this plan. We got to act as a team. And I think that would have been a really natural. And that was about halfway through the movie. I think that would have been a really good stopping point, and they could have opened up a couple more things by introducing a little more Martian Manhunter, and introducing a little bit more Granny Goodness, a little bit more, you know, stuff that they could have fleshed an extra 30 minutes into.
I think they could have made it a 3-hour movie. There's parts of it they can definitely cut from this.
Less slow-mo, less
Cyborg watching a person that's not really important to the story, just to show that he has some goodness in him and stuff like that. Which
Well,
went over
three.
like
that was
10
that was about
minutes.
that was about 4
like
minutes.
10
You could have cut
minutes.
4 minutes. Everybody's like, so much singing. There was only one
They
song.
could have cut the shirt sniffing like weird scene.
That was only like 2 minutes.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? If you take
you-
enough
if you
of them
take
out, it
enough
makes
of
an
it, yeah,
hour.
it makes
It
an
could
hour.
have been a 3 hour, and obviously people will sit through that. Yeah,
The arrow ceremony.
the arrow ceremony, where they're like, "Oh, the world's in trouble. We have to let everyone know right now. It's very important. Let's wait until nightfall. Let's put on our fancy robes. Let's do all of this ceremony, and then gently launch it." And it's like, why not do it right now?
Why not text her? That's
Yeah.
what I said. It's like,
Yeah.
just get a cell phone out, dude. You can't,
So there's definitely parts that fewer hot dogs.
I like the hot dogs. Okay,
The hot dogs were funny when we were making fun of it, like, and then the hot dogs just start hitting Iris in the face and stuff.
yeah.
but-
Well, and somebody said in the comments, I can't remember who it was in the comments, but someone said earlier in the show that all the Flash portions of the movie felt like a TV show, and it's like, yeah, it felt like episodes of the Flash. It was
Yeah.
very CW, all his scenes.
They could have taken all the Flash jokes and nonsense out of it.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't mind the Flash jokes if he was Wally West,
Right.
and not trying to be the scientist Flash that everybody knows and loves, and who's the OG Flash who gets his powers through science and working at Star Labs. And I just don't.
OG Flash. is
Well,
Jay
that's
Garrick.
Jake Eric. Yeah, and that's from a different time. But I think that if they wanted the comedy, they should have done Wally West Flash. I think it would have landed better.
Who's Kid Flash?
Was that not Wally West?
Wally West was Kid Flash for like a minute, but who's Wally West's Kid Flash?
No, I forget. It's been so long since he's the one that died, right?
No.
I thought Kid Flash got totally murked in one timeline, and then that's where
no,
Wally
you're-
West got
you're-
really upset.
You're thinking of Young Justice.
Okay, yeah, I guess I am thinking of
Yeah.
Young Justice. There's all these universes.
Young Justice is really good. Hey, after you watch Justice League Snyder Cut on HBO, start watching Young Justice.
Young Justice is very good.
Bart Allen, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They could have made it Bart because Bart has a mouth on him too.
And yeah, that's the big the kind of casting issue that I had was I don't think that it was the wrong version of Flash, and since there are so many Flashes to choose from, they should have not. If they're gonna do wisecracking Flash, don't do Barry.
Yeah.
You know, don't do Barry Allen.
But you have to have Barry so it can be Flashpoint or whatever.
True. So cut out the jokes.
Could have had Wally do Flashpoint.
Exactly. You could take I think fans would have taken a little liberty.
I'm gonna
there.
take a strong stance here and say that Wally is the best Flash.
You like that butthole Green Lantern too, don't you? What's the
Guy Gardner?
Yeah.
No, he's not my favorite,
Okay.
but he is cool.
No, he's not cool.
Kilowog's my favorite Green Lantern.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
poozer.
Okay.
You get to see him dead in this movie,
Yeah, you do.
which is a bummer.
But you actually get to see a lantern doing lantern things and not being Deadpool, which was kind of cool. You get to see a little lantern in the ring escaping back off into the universe, which was pretty cool.
Alan, what's the original Green Lantern's name?
God, that I don't know.
He's the cool one too.
But there was a lot of really true to form stuff in this movie, and I think the people that didn't enjoy it, I don't think were really ready for comic book movies to be serious. And that's the thing that I enjoyed about it is it was serious, and there were long, slow moments, there were conversational moments, there were puzzle solving moments, there were times where your characters got to explore and develop their relationships with one another instead of going, well, we're all in this house, so I guess we're going to fight the big bad guy. Now we're homies. You know, it's which is very the Marvel way of doing it. It's like, I met you yesterday and now we're at and you don't throw out quips on the battlefield with someone that you just met yesterday. Like that's these relationships, that's this thing about these superheroes. That's why the Justice League is cool.
They toned down Aquaman, which made him better.
Yeah, because he wasn't just a rootin' tootin'
instead of
surfboard badass.
Hooping and hollering all the time. He still was like my man, and like all that, but that was it. He wasn't like hooping and hollering after that or doing anything.
He was actually kind of a like sad drunk,
broody man,
which was kind of cool. It fit the whole like, I don't want to be king. I want to blah blah blah. And it actually springboarded better to the Aquaman movie, which wasn't that great, but it made more sense coming off of the Snyder cut.
You know what is good though? Uncharted 2 and 3, which they just ripped off to make that Aquaman movie.
I never played those games, so I'm gonna default to you.
They're good.
Another thing about these the Justice League and versus say the Avengers that I think is a lot more interesting is because the relationships between the heroes on the Justice League are a little more. There's more tension there than say the Avengers that are just like, well, we got superpowers, so we should fight together, right? I guess is that I'm rich and I'm Tony Stark, and I said let's make this team.
And then they just inexplicably hate each other for a movie.
Right. They're just like, well, we're beefing all of a sudden. Skipping out on the whole, just the relationships. Batman and Superman did not like each other very much going into Justice League. And the fact that Batman is the leader of the Justice League and he's the one with no superpowers because he doesn't trust anybody. And, like that whole, the dynamic between these people, I think is a lot more interesting, and movies like the Snyder Cut set that up a little bit better than these just fast-paced, like, it's just fight scene to fight scene to fight scene to fight scene, and a lot of these newer, superhero movies that are coming out. And so I feel like people just want TV shows. I don't think people want superhero movies anymore. I think it's a thing that no one wants. I don't know. That's just my take.
I don't know. I thought Snyder Cut was sick, and I want more of that.
Well, we do. That's what I'm saying. We like that kind of stuff, but we're not the normals. We'll happily. Honestly, at the end of that 4 hours, it did not feel like I had sat there for 4 hours. Not even close.
No.
And I think when I was in the theater watching Endgame, by about 45 minutes in, I'm like, God, fuck, kill him already.
No.
I thought he snapped his fingers. Jesus. And
yeah, the last two Avengers movies, both of them sitting there. I was like, how long have I been here? What year is it? Who's president? Yeah, like all the like time capsule crawling out of the ground questions people ask. It was just completely awful. But this one, we were sitting there and it was like, oh, this is the end of the movie. It's almost done. So yeah, that was something. And you get a lot of things thrown in there to make fans happy, which was nice. And you get enough exposition to make it where new people can like it. And I think that this is like the ideal superhero team up movie as far as what have been made so far.
I agree. And, for anybody that hasn't seen this yet and wants to see this, I don't think you should break it up. I don't think you should, start watching it and then do what the producer's done. He's like, I watched 15 minutes and then I went on a run and then I watched 20 minutes and then I went and cooked dinner and then I watched 30 minutes and then I came.
The story's very fluid and it holds together. And I think if you try and cut it up, besides the small breaks it puts in it, for the section title cards.
It has
really
section title cards.
Yeah, it really takes away from it.
Again, shows you that there's very intentional pacing, intentional changes in story beats and arcs to keep you engaged. I mean, if you want to take a break at the part. Say, okay, part 1, we got through that. Boom, moving on. Right. You just going back to something that we didn't really touch on, and now we don't have a whole lot of time left, but the artistic vision of a director to tell a story the way that they want to tell the story. Rarely do we get to see director's cuts. I mean, how many years did we have to wait until we got to see a Blade Runner director's cut? I mean, it was years and years and years and years.
Of them.
Yeah, and then you got many, many, many of them. Because then the director's like, well, actually, I'm going to go back and re-edit it now that I can. Director's cuts, like, are a really interesting way to, I mean, in the Lord of the Rings extended editions, for example, like how much very integral stuff got trimmed out just so it'll sell to an audience and fit in a theatrical runtime. And those movies aren't meant to be like paused and broken up. It's like, just check it out. We did this intentionally so that the story makes sense, so that you feel the feels you need to feel when you're supposed to feel them. And those things usually require build up. And, a good director is not just directing a movie, but is directing your reactions to the movie and directing how you feel, how you respond, your emotions through this journey that you're watching on screen. And when you just break that up and reset yourself every time, it's kind of like listening to a long piece of some orchestra music and then pausing every 5 seconds and like, I'm going to listen to the rest of this song tomorrow. You don't get that like build up to the boom, and then that part hits and you're just like, yes. You need to watch it. That's what a director's cut is all about. And that's the director's cut.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, I stand corrected here. Johnny brought up some movie that never needed a director's cut to be good, being the best superhero team-up movie ever made, and that is Mystery Men. As far as live action. Yeah, good call. Mystery Men's good.
Man. That is a good movie.
Mystery Men makes sense as to why they're a team and why they team up. And it's because some of them have already known each other, and there's already a bond there, and they don't need to create it out of nothing. It doesn't feel like someone just was like, we're best friends now, let's go get killed together. Hell yeah, I'm in. 5 seconds later. Mm-hmm. Mystery Men has some substance to it, and it's a far superior movie than any superhero movie since the boom of superhero movies. So yeah, good point. But this one's a close second.
Yep.
As far as live action ones go.
Agreed.
For sure. And Johnny pointed out something about Snyder's daughter. You do get to see a scene with suicide awareness poster and everything like that, if you're not distracted by the really bad CGI of the car in it and everything. And there's some things like that are really nice to see added in. Things that if you know, and if you don't, it's not going to affect your movie experience and things like that. So while it's not a visual spectacle, it is very much a story that works out really well.
Speaking of stories that the fans just need to have, John Munkus over on Facebook says, give us the director's cut of Spy Kids. Robert Rodriguez's original vision of Spy Kids. Is there?
I think there is.
I'm sure there is. Like, Spy Kids, come on.
I think there's a recut of 3D that they released.
But why, though?
People liked Spy Kids.
There was something in the plot that you missed.
As Antonio Banderas and Cheech Marin and Danny Trejo and
Steve Buscemi in any of those movies?
He's in the second one.
Okay. Seemed like he'd be in there. And where does Shark Boy and Lava Girl fit in the pantheon of Spy Kids? Are they?
I don't think it's a shared
universe.
Maybe they were a TV show.
The Robert Rodriguez-averse.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anybody that does freaking Spy Kids. What is this? But good non sequitur there, and I think that's a good place to start wrapping things up. And before we just go down the rabbit hole of people like Vince asking for a 2-hour cut of Madea movies.
Your language.
Yeah, let's not go there. But anyway, again, Drive-In Speakerbox, we're out here every Monday night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, live via Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. You can check out our videos there. Join in the comments if you're listening on the MP3 podcast, whatever it is you're doing, and you're wondering what we're responding to. Well, there's comments right here. We can see them. We can all talk to them. And you're welcome, counterexample, over on Twitch. So yeah, just like, subscribe, share to your friends, and we'll be here. We'll be here next week. Johnny Dalton's asking if I'm drinking Surge. No, I'm drinking AHA Lime Watermelon Sparkling Water. I was not paid. Oh. They're not paying me for this. And
I'm drinking.
You're drinking?
I'm drinking Kimino Japanese ume plum flavored sparkling water. It's real nasty if you don't like ume plums.
I like my plums.
Yeah, but if you do like Japanese plums, it's not bad.
If you like ume plums, if you're not a weeb at all and don't watch anime and don't like ume plums,
I didn't buy this at like some goofy weeaboo anime store. I bought it at the Asian market.
My cricket's not on point tonight. I didn't buy this at some nerdy weeaboo store. I bought it at the Asian market, dude. With my Pocky and my
no, that's where I
Panda
do.
crackers.
That's where I do my grocery shopping, man. That's where I go get all my food. Real talk.
Well, all right. Now that I'm pulling the microphone off the boom arm here, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you guys next week. Feel free to like, subscribe, share. And, until that next time, I'm Bo.
I'm Jay.
And bye.
We will be right back. Did you...